promised, I'm back again to show you another basic box, but just slightly stepped up from the one in the last video. So it has sturdier sides and just different reinforced sides really. So just to show you, so this again we're using exactly the same. I'm using Whisper White as my base, and I'm using this lovely designer series paper. Now if you didn't see the last video, you can actually get this for free at the moment. We're in February 2018, and as so this is one of the Sale-a-Bration items that's going to be released on the 16th of February. So this is one of the sheets out of the pack of 12, 3 sheets of 4 different designs, all in this fabulous foiling, and I love this because it's rose gold, so which is my favourite at the moment. So in the last one we showed a very basic box, as simple as you can get, and this one, as I say, we're going to step it up a little bit. So in my last video, this is kind of like, again, just in case you missed it, so this is a box for a card that I've made here that you just isn't going to fit into an envelope because it's got these lovely gorgeous flowers on. So look at the height of those, and I don't want to squash those, so I need to just decide how big. I mean, for this card, I just literally put this up against here, measured it, and I even kind of went like that. I don't know if you can see. Yes, you can see, and just saw how high it was. How high did I need my box to be to make sure it fitted? And in this case, an inch was fine. So there we go. So for this one, now there's a difference. Is I don't really like a really tight fitting lid, but I'm going to give you my way, and then just at the end I'm going to say what you need to do. If you like it just slightly tighter fitting, then I'll give you the dimensions for that as well. But in this instance, my card, I knew that I was going to need a box for it, so I made it 5 3/4 inches by 5 3/4 inches. So for my box I picked, this is how I worked out how big I needed to make my box. So this is my card is 5 3/4, so I want another 1/4 inch on top of that for my box. So this is going to be my box. So this is where the card would sit. So the card would sit in kind of like that, a bit tighter, but you get the idea. So 6 by 6. Now I measured my height, and my height, I needed it to be 1 inch. And this is what we did on the last video. So we did a very simple box like that, which was 1 inch all the way round. But in this one, we're actually going to take it 1 more inch up. We're going to reinforce those sides so they are double the thickness. So there we go. So that's 1 inch, that's 1 inch, that's 1 inch, that's 1 inch, and that's 1 inch. So how much do I need? I say my card is 5 3/4, so if your card was a 6 by 6 card, this would actually be 6 1/4, and then plus your 1 plus your 1. So this piece, in this instance, the middle is going to be 6 inches. There's an inch there to add, an inch there to add, an inch there to add, and an inch there to add. So 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So my original card size that I need to start with is 10 inches, and in this instance we have a square, which is 6 inches. Now if you were doing, I'm not sticking to the lines, a card that was say 4 inches, the card was 4 inches by 6 inches, then this bit would need to be 4 1/4, that would need to be 6 1/4. Oh, you get my idea. You'd still need the inch there, or whatever your height is. It might be that you have 2 inches, you might only need 1/2 inch. And there we go. And then you'd cut 6 1/4, 7, 8, 9, 10 1/4. That would be 10 1/4, and in, oh, shush, Natalie. That would be 4 1/4, 5 1/4, 6 1/4, 7 1/4, 8 1/4. Thought I was doing a square again. And this one is 6 1/4, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that would be 10 1/4. So for a 4 by 6 card, not that we make 4 by 6 cards particularly, you'd need 4 1/4 by 6 1/4 there, plus your heights. Hopefully that all makes sense. Yeah. Any problems? Give me a comment below and I can work it out for you. But that's all you need. So basically, whatever your card size is, add 1/4 inch to this bit, and then height times 2. Oh dear, of course I'm going to lose my voice now I'm doing this. Right. Okay, so in this instance, so what you can see, obviously this started off, for my one, it was a 10 by 10. And then what I've done is I've got my trimmer and I have scored. Now my height was 1 inch, so I scored with my scoring blade at 1 inch, and then I did another inch. So these two need to be exactly the same. So I moved along here, I did another inch, so inch, 2 inches, inch, 2 inches. So I had a square with these bits on the side that had 2 score lines around the whole piece. So let's move that to one side. Then what you need to do is you need to cut out these sections here. Now you can do that, you can cut those out, but you do need these to also be flaps. So I tend to do the ones on the same side the same way, just so they all go round then. So you're cutting out this piece here, this piece here, this piece here, and you've got the lines. So you just need to cut them. So I haven't cut that one very well, but you just go along and cut them like that and get rid of the excess. Then what we're going to do is we are going to use our bone folders. So I'm just using Whisper White for my base, and there we go, all the way along. So you can fold with your hands, and you can see I'm doing it with my fingers, smudging ink as I go, but nothing reinforces any fold, whether it's a card or whether it's a box, as a bone folder. So you can do the initial fold and then just go in and reinforce it. Just gets it very precise then. There we go, and come there. So it's very similar to the last video. I'm going to turn that over and I'm going to put some glue on here. Now, as I said before, you can use wet glue or dry glue, or tape glue or whatever. The only thing with a wet glue is you have some wiggle room, whereas a dry one you don't have to stand there and hold it. So like before, I'm just going to put this fold here against that corner there, and I want that to be as neat as I can. So try and keep it as straight as you can there. There we go. I'm actually using my fingers inside to press the glue so it holds. So then we'll move along to this one, and we'll do that again and again. I'll hold it in place. So as fine a corner as I can get then, nice and neat. I've got my fingers right in the corner on the other side. Same again. Oh no. There we go, and fingers are inside there as well. Just for a few seconds to let that Tombow dry a tiny bit. And then the last one, there we go. Let's use my inside fingers. So you end up with sides that look like that. There we go. So now what you want to do, as I say, in our last box, that inside there, hopefully you can see, that's what the kind of finish we have. But we want to be a little bit neater, and we want to have a little bit more sturdiness this time. So I'm putting glue, doesn't matter whether you put it on the bottom one or the top one, I'm just putting glue on, there you go, you can see there, just on there. And I'm going to tuck that over and use my bone folder again, can you see that there, to just stick that down. So again, red tape is good to be used, so a fast fuse is good, because the fast fuse is red tape on a roll. Just depends what your preference is really. So let's go around to the next one, and in fact what I might do is glue all of these while I've got the glue in my hand. It's not going to dry that quickly, so it's not like we won't be able to stick it in a minute. So there we go, let's get back round to that one. So you can just wrap it over and then go in there with your bone folder, and make sure you get right in the corners as well. You want those corners to be nice and sharp. Got to make sure your bone folder's nice and clean. I so know I'm going to leave a mark now I've said that. So obviously, I mean, you can do this with pattern paper. a lot of our specialty series card is super thick, so that's great to use as well. Let's just get that last one done. And again, just concentrating that corner, going across to this corner. There we go. And that's our box. And now you can see we don't have, like we had in the last box, we have, oh, there we go, like there. Can you see that? You can see the inside. I mean, it's fine. It doesn't look too bad, but you don't want that really. So this gives you the perfect corners. It's sturdy. There's 2 pieces of card there, so it's just a bit more of a sturdier bottom. And if you miss that, we're going to do it all again with the lid. So it's exactly the same as before, but this one is 1/4 of an inch bigger. Now, if you like a tighter fit to your boxes, then instead of doing 1/4 of an inch, just try 1/8 of an inch. But that can be, and sometimes you have to play around. It does depend on how thick your cardstock is that you're using as to what works and what doesn't work. I mean, if you want to use like photocopy paper or printer paper to do a test run first, you can do that as well, as long as the size of paper you need to start with will fit on an A4, unless you've got some A3 paper. But yeah, it does depend sometimes just how thick it is. So this is super thick, this card. So it's a speciality paper. So turn it over. We're going to put our glue in each corner. So exactly the same process. It's just that it's 1/4 of an inch bigger. That's all. So I'm going to do these a little bit quicker this time. There we go. You know this is going to take longer to stick. Just because I said I'd do it quicker. One of those. There we go. Oh, see, I knew. See, told you it'd take longer to stick, didn't I? Let's just give it a few seconds longer. Okay, and then glue. I tend to do the top panel, but it honestly really doesn't matter as long as the glue's on one of those, the top or the bottom, or you can alternate if you really want to make things interesting. There we go. So they already look like they want to be going in, so let's get that bone folder and reinforce that. So once you're happy with these and you're quite competent in doing them and quite confident in doing them, then as I say, something like a tape might make it quicker for you. You're not having to hold it quite as much as I'm having to hold these down, especially with this. This design series paper is slightly glossy, so a wet glue just takes that a little bit longer to seal, that's all. There we go, just do that right in the corner. And you can, if you want to, if you're slightly off with some of your measurements, you can get your scissors in and give it a little bit of a trim as well, if you think. But I mean, often just getting that bone folder right in there. But I mean, as I say, I could sit there, can you see that? Oh, and slice that. Oh, just to give it, but then you don't have the nice corners, that's all. So there we go. So there's our lid. So again, and as before, so here's the lid on the other one. So on this one, I'm just going to move something. On this one, you've got you can see the inside here, but on this one you've got the pattern going inside. What you could then do if you really wanted to, and what I did on this box here, well, this is a white box. I just put a piece of cardstock in that place as well to make it as thick, so 2 layers, so it's as thick as the sides. because in this instance you've got a white centre. I'm all right with that because there's my white base, but if you wanted to, you could cut another piece of 6 1/4 by 6 1/4, and then there we go, lid on, box done. That's my guide to making the simplest separate top and bottom box. Thanks for joining me. If you've liked this video, then give me a thumbs up. And if you don't already subscribe to my YouTube channel, then please go ahead and do so. Then you'll be notified by YouTube when I update some other handy tips like this. And I'll definitely be updating far more now. So watch out for the next video, and thanks for joining me. Bye.